Welcome to Rom Wills, Money Matters. The artisan movement is gaining steam. The artisan movement. You know what? I've been seeing all this stuff about AI and, taking over jobs. And then, of course, we have the great resignation. But you know what? I saw something, article, and I should have saved it. I should have saved it and gave a link to it. But it was talking about, it briefly mentioned that some of these people who are resigning are getting into artisan businesses. And what's an artisan? Basically handmade products. People are making stuff themselves. And the artisan economy, the artisan industry overall, it's getting close to $1 trillion. It's getting close to $1 trillion, or at least projected to get that close. Or to get to $1 trillion. I forget what the exact numbers were, but they're getting up there. A lot of people are getting handmade products, artisan products, handmade. I mean, and indeed, you even have some foods that are artisan, like artisan bread, people making it fresh. Many people are going away from just maybe stuff made by machines, factory and all of that. I mean, you even have handmade furniture. Now, yes, it can be very expensive, but as more and more people buy it, it's creating a decent economy. And you got it on a small scale, because anybody who's followed me a long time know I've always talked about vending. If you go to vending shows, that's the artisan economy right there, because in most cases people are selling something that they made. Now, one of my favorite things to get that's really artisan products is soaps. I have soaps, handmade soaps that just right now could probably last me 2 months. I mean, because I just love buying them. Now I'll buy just some standard soap, period, and really more for my sons because they like the regular stuff. But soaps are a great example. And indeed, you go in some stores, some of these stores that sell more organic products, they will have artisan made goods in there. But it's gaining steam. Because even, like I said, I saw this article and it said some of these people who are resigning, they are starting to start their own businesses. Now, of course, typically an artisan is not going to make $1 million, but depending on what they're producing and the venues they have to sell their stuff, they can make a decent amount of money. Let me go back to the vending thing. I really love vending. And like I say, if I really had the time, I would get back into doing vending shows. But, I got, this little online thing I gotta pay attention to. But you see a lot, when you go to vending shows, and they could be vending shows, farmers markets, and you could actually include that in the artisan movement. For this mere fact, people growing food on their farms or wherever they're growing it and then selling it someplace. Indeed, you'll find a lot of those farmers markets, vending shows in, ironically, upper middle class areas, more middle to upper middle class areas. But people are supporting it. Now, I know a lot of people, they're concerned about the AI, they're concerned about making the money, having that living, having, higher minimum wage, but artisans can actually create jobs. Artisans, depending on the artisan, what they're doing, as they expand, they need more people. And indeed, you could even have training systems for artisans, like the soap making thing. You can get some artisans who can train others to make soaps or furniture, especially like that. Because something else is coming up. I just saw an article recently that said people ain't going to community colleges like they used to. And let's just be real, it's getting harder. With student loans and everything, unless you're getting some type of scholarship, it's hard to go to these schools. It's getting harder and harder. But one of the things I've always said is there will always be a way. Now people are seeing like part of it. They're seeing the AI. They're seeing people resigning. They are seeing like a loss of living wage jobs. But people are creating. You have more and more artisans that are coming up, and that extends to a lot of things. That extends to so many things. And I mean, anything handmade. Just think of anything. Like I use the example of soaps, shampoos, furniture. I've actually seen some stuff, breads. They talk about like artisan breads, things of that nature. Because it's ironic. It's really, to me, a reaction to the machine. People say machine this and machine that, but people are still people. And it'll be interesting just to watch the growth of the artisan movement. I think it's going to kick into another gear. It's going to kick into another gear because people are people. At the end of the day, people still want things. And no, they're not going to be big millionaires. But depending on where they're living, how they managed their money before they got into any artisan crafts, they still might be able to do all right. It's going to change stuff, and that's overall. You know, a lot of people think, oh, it's going to fail, it's going to fail. You got to open your mind. And that artisan economy, that artisan movement is one of the ways. Indeed, I would say just an overall thing, and I'll probably do a feature video on this. As long as people are breathing, there's going to be ways to make money. The things are just going to shift. One way or the other. Things are going to shift. People have been here for thousands of years, millions of years. You know, just because one things are changing, people will just simply adapt. But getting back to just that artisan movement itself, it's changing. Like wherever you live, look for the flea markets, look for the farmers markets, vending shows. Do a Google search on just artisans in your area. You'll find a lot. And that's an important thing. Like if you got any skill to build something, make something from scratch, I would say go for it. Go for it. Even if you have a steady job. There's nothing wrong with doing something on the side. And of course, stuff like that creates secondary and tertiary businesses. Like I always talk about having that big event space. I would just put ads out for artisan vendors and maybe create a weekly artisan show just for people to come in and buy, make it like a regular thing. It's so much, but it's gaining steam. So, until the next episode, let's go make that money.